The mother of a Delta County woman says the district attorney there made the wrong decision when he decided not to press charges against the officer who shot and killed her daughter. 9 News crime and justice reporter Matt Jablow has more, but first, a warning. This story does contain graphic video of the incident itself.
April 9th, right around 11:30 in the morning, sheriff's deputies tried pulling over a car that did not have license plates on Highway 92 in Delta County. But the driver, 26-year-old Paige Pierce, took off.
So, right off the bat, Paige Pierce, white woman, driving without a license plate. Cop clearly sees that she's a white woman in the car. Still tries to pull her over for not having a license plate. Allegedly, this doesn't happen because they only, petty stuff like this, they only bother black people. But the thing about it is, this is not petty. If she gets in an accident with someone else while she's driving with no license plate, she's going to do what she just did. She's going to flee the scene. And that person's going to be on the hook for their auto repairs. Or if someone gets hurt, medical bills. While Paige is gone. And no one would be able to, a witness wouldn't be able to help the cops in any way because you can't get a license plate because she doesn't have one. And because she has no license plate, you don't know whether she's passed her driving test. You don't know if she's qualified to be on the roads. So even though if it would have happened to a sun man or a sun queen, it would be deemed as petty. And they only messing with them because they black. But I promise you, all those things, using a counterfeit bill, a store clerk is not going to take a counterfeit bill from a white person just because they're white. And then if that white person comes back a second time in the same store and tries to use the same counterfeit bill with another cashier, they'll probably call the police. And when the police comes, if that cashier gives them a hard time, if that suspect if the suspect with the fake $20 bill gives them a hard time, it's going to escalate. So all these things we deem as petty, and they don't do that. I promise you, you don't know what you're talking about because you don't live around white people. You live in a black neighborhood. This is what police do. This is their job. Law enforcement officers.
April 9th, right around 11:30 in the morning, sheriff's deputies tried pulling over a car that did not have license plates on Highway 92 in Delta County. But the driver, 26-year-old Paige Pierce, took off.
White SUV. Copy.
Deputies put down spike strips on the road to slow Pierce down.
Get spikes! Get it!
They put down spike strips over someone driving with no license plates. They don't have to do all that, man. They could have just let them go. That's not what they do. This is how they apprehend a lot of violent criminals and a lot of people with warrants. A lot of wanted people are apprehended during traffic stops because criminals continue to commit crimes, whether they be traffic crimes or any other type of crimes. So if you commit a traffic offense, that's a good way, that's a good sign that you run afoul of the law. So they catch a lot of people who they're looking for, a lot of fugitives, a lot of people with warrants. They catch a lot of people transporting drugs, gun runners with traffic stops.
Deputies put down spike strips on the road to slow Pierce down.
Get spikes! Get it!
of her tires were flattened. Pierce then pulled into a long dirt driveway. Deputy Nolan Davis pulled in after her. And then this. Deputy.
So he's standing there between his squad car and another vehicle, and here she comes barreling towards him with her car. Who thinks she had good intentions? Who's known anybody who's been injured in a car accident? No, not even a car accident. Hit by a car. A pedestrian hit by a car. Has anybody heard of a pedestrian being hit by a car being seriously injured? At this point, she's fled the scene. He tried to pull over, she fled. They chased her. They put down spike strips to flatten her tires. It works. She continues to drive. She pulls into a driveway. An innocent person's home, basically. The cop now doesn't know. Now other people are getting involved. Now you've involved other people. Now you have involved other people. So as she barrels towards him, he pulls out his service pistol and begins to fire at the car. Now, a lot of people say he should have just moved out the way and let her go and chased her. That's not how it works. Okay? They carry a service pistol for a reason. It's to stop a threat. She's a threat to the public. If she's willing to run over an officer, what's she going to do to you? This woman's obviously desperate. And I'm not going to call her crazy because I don't think this is crazy. I think this is criminality. I don't believe in the whole mental illness stuff. Everybody, you want to know how crazy I am? If you want to talk about crazy, if you guys could see the thoughts that was going on in my mind, jeez. Everybody I know is crazy. So if everybody's crazy, then nobody's crazy. This is crime. This woman's a criminal. So he pulled out his gun and shot at her. And it seems cold, and it seems, like you shouldn't do that. You should just let the person go. I guess I can understand that sentiment. And if y'all want police reform, white people will benefit from it too. All right, nah, we don't want police reform. White criminals gonna benefit too, because that's who benefits from police reform. Criminals. Me, you, we not gonna get nothing out of police reform. 95% of black people ain't gonna get nothing out of police reform. Nothing. You know who gonna get us something out of it? Pookie and Ray Ray. Peaches and Nay Nay. 95% of white people ain't gonna get nothing out of police reform. You know who gonna get something out of it? Paige and Becky. Okay?
Deputy Davis fired 8 shots, hitting Pierce 3 times. She died at the scene.
We're required to prove each and every element of a crime beyond a reasonable doubt.
After a 2-month-long review, the Delta County DA on Wednesday determined that the shooting was justified.
Based on the evidence, the people cannot disprove beyond a reasonable doubt that Davis was acting in self-defense, and the district attorney's office cannot file criminal charges against Deputy Nolan Davis.
Doesn't make sense to me.
Pierce's mother says she's devastated by the DA's decision. She believes there was no need for a police chase over a missing license plate, and even less of a need to shoot and kill her daughter.
Now, who thinks this is the Paige that was riding around with no tags? Not a tag in the back window, Not an expired tag. Not just a tag in the front and no tag in the back. Or a tag in the back and no tag in the front. Just driving around with no tags. And when the police get behind her, she goes on the run. They flat her tires, she keeps driving. The cop corners her, she tries to run him over. Who thinks that this is that woman? That this is the woman that was in that car? Or the image of the woman? Because families do this. They're going to give you a picture of this person in their greatest glory. They didn't give you a graduation picture. Thank God. Unlike some people. But this picture presents her as somebody who's just, the typical girl. And that's not what her behavior indicated.
Pierce's mother says she's devastated by the DA's decision. She believes there was no need for a police chase over a missing license plate, and even less of a need to shoot and kill her daughter.
He shoots her as she's going by. He's already ready to shoot her as he's getting out of his truck.
The majority of his shots are as she's already passed him.
Kevin Mayer, the Pierce family's attorney, says the deputy had plenty of time and space to protect himself without firing his gun.
The video, I think, kind of speaks for itself, that he's got time to close the car door, draw his gun, takes 3 steps back, and he's already out of the way.
This occurred very, very rapidly. The officer had very, very little time to make a decision.
CU criminal justice professor Paul Taylor says the incident was a tragedy, that it appears the deputy's actions were justified.
So the officer didn't appear to do anything unlawfully, and it doesn't appear, that the driver of the vehicle put that deputy in substantial danger.
Paige was everything beautiful. She was a truly caring person.
Pierce's mother is now planning to file a wrongful death lawsuit. She says it won't bring her daughter back, but she's hoping it might bring a small measure of justice.
I want them to take some kind of accountability, and if this is the way we have to go, then this is the way we'll do it.
Matt Jablow, 9 News.
Deputy Nolan Davis has been on administrative leave since the shooting. Delta County Sheriff Mark Taylor told 9 News that Davis has now been returned to active duty but won't be on patrol for a few weeks. Taylor also said that he is still reviewing the findings of the internal investigation into the incident. We'll be right back.
Arvada police have offered few details about the shooting in Old Town on Monday, and now it's becoming clear why. Today, sources told 9 News that a responding officer is the person who shot and killed Johnny Hurley, the man that police called a hero for stepping in after Arvada police officer Gordon Beasley was ambushed. A source also told us Arvada police didn't release that information because they were directed to keep it quiet by the district attorney.
Could you imagine if a Good Samaritan hero, person, was gunned down and then the district attorney refused to even bring charges? Oh my, this would be a national story. But this is just one of the dozens and dozens. I'm talking about literally. I scour the news for these all the time. And shout out to my dude, Black Privilege TV. Make sure you check out his channel. He talks about white on white crime. But I scoured the news for these. It's insane. Both of these are from this month. The last month. You would be surprised at how many white people got shot like this, situation like this. I'm not talking about he came out and shot the cop 6 times, and the cop while he was dying just reached up and shot him. No, we're talking about literally stuff like this. Happens all the time, and you never hear about it. If you want people to hear about these, make sure you share these videos. Make sure you hit the like button. Share all my videos, but share this one. Hit the like button, subscribe, take the $5 challenge via PayPal or Cash App. Because this narrative that cops are only killing, they literally kill more white people in less interactions. They have far less interactions. I don't know the numbers off the break, but it's crazy how fewer interactions they have with the white community. And they killed twice as many of them. And many of them are egregious by black standards. Not egregious by what I think, but by black standards. If a person was a black person, it would be rioting. And you don't even hear about it. You wouldn't even know what happened.
A source also told us Arvada police didn't release that information because they were directed to keep it quiet by the district attorney.
9 News reporter Katie Eastman is in Arvada tonight. Katie, neither police nor the district attorney's office has said publicly at this point that Johnny Hurley was shot by police, right?
That's right, Alex. And witnesses say that they saw Hurley shooting at the suspect, but that has also not been confirmed by officials. Today, we spoke with 2 legal experts to give us their thoughts on their case.
In Old Town Arvada, police say 3 people were killed: an officer, a Good Samaritan, and a suspect. But the question became, who shot who?
One other person was transported to an area hospital. At this time, we believe this person was shot and killed by the gunman.
That was the Arvada deputy chief on Monday. But on Thursday, our sources told 9 Wants to Know that belief was wrong, and an officer shot the Good Samaritan, Johnny Hurley.
It is the flip side, the counterweight to the theory that we should arm more citizens, that the good guy with a gun will solve America's gun violence problem. The problem is, officers coming to the scene, they can't tell whether an armed individual is a good guy or a bad guy.
That's a great point. You see how logically they handle this? No emotion. It's like literally no emotion. Even the girl's mom in the last story, there's no emotion. It's just all like the facts. Like, yeah, this guy was a Good Samaritan. He was trying to take down the shooter. But then the cop rolls up. Damn, that sucks how unlucky it is. But it's happy for everybody else because we want the cop to show up. The cop's here. This guy's he sees this guy with the gun pointing it at somebody. The cops got the call. Go there, there's a guy with a gun pointing it at people or shooting people. The cop shows up. Unfortunately now, the Good Samaritan is the one with the gun. Cop don't know, cop shoots him. It's unfortunate. It's terrible. But I guarantee you these people will not burn down the store where their grandmother goes to get her diabetes medicine. They won't burn down the store where their wife goes and gets the groceries. They won't burn down the store where they go pay their phone bill. They won't burn, you know? They won't destroy their own town over this. I guarantee you they won't. It's terrible what happened, though.
It is the flip side, the counterweight to the theory that we should arm more citizens, that the good guy with a gun will solve America's gun violence problem. The problem is, officers coming to the scene, they can't tell whether an armed individual is a good guy or a bad guy.
Defense attorney Scott Robinson calls Monday's shooting a tragedy on many levels.
In terms of civil liability, it all depends on the circumstances. What did the officer who fired the shot see?
Those circumstances are unclear. Our sources say the Jefferson County District Attorney stopped police from releasing certain details, and former Republican DA George Brockler says he would do the same.
I think at this stage I'd be extremely protective with an eye towards, look, what if we decide that the officers involved here broke the law?
But both Brockler and Robinson say it's unlikely the officer who shot Hurley will be criminally charged.
The police get to intervene, even with lethal force, to save the lives of others. And if they mistakenly perceive that this guy was the aggressor, was the person that was going to put other people in jeopardy, there is an argument that what they did was not criminal.
Remember Micaiah Bryant? Seems like it was years ago, but it was really only like three months ago. Micaiah Bryant, Columbus, Ohio. Young lady. Situation at the house, the foster home. she or somebody or her sister called the police. Police show up. She's wielding a knife. The lie was that, you know, she picked the knife up after somebody else dropped it and she wasn't the aggressor. Fine. Let's play by that rule. When the officer showed up, he's there. He doesn't know that the woman yelling, "I'ma kill you, B," and swinging a knife towards another woman's throat is not the person he's been called for. He doesn't know that. You know what happened in that case? Nationwide protests. 24-hour round-the-clock coverage on CNN and MSNBC for a week. A statement from celebrities. Every celebrity made a statement about it. Politicians. This case, it's the only channel you're going to see it on. Make sure you hit the like button. Subscribe.
And the DA for Jefferson County, Democrat Alexis King, took office in January. And during her campaign, she said her district would be at the forefront of transparency and accountability. And Kyle, yesterday, in an emailed statement, she said that her office would not be commenting any further pending the completion of an investigation.
And first, we want to get to our Eddie Guajardo. And Eddie, we're starting to learn more about the Good Samaritan who stepped in and lost his own life in the process.
And the word I keep hearing time and time again is simply brave. John Hurley was 40 years old and lived in Golden. Many in this community may describe him as someone with a golden heart for the heroic actions he took to ensure the safety of this community when he bolted out of that Army surplus store behind me, ready to confront that gunman. As the sun sets and the day settles, the moments that led up to a tragedy and the heroic actions of one man
Our Good Samaritan is John Hurley.
are ingrained in the history of Old Town Arvada.
He is a true hero who likely disrupted what could have been a larger loss of life.
John Hurley was inside the Army surplus store when danger struck.
I just want to make sure his family knows how heroic he was.
Bill Troyanos, a store employee, says Hurley swiftly and confidently pulled out his gun.
He did not hesitate. He didn't stand there and think about it. He totally heard the gunfire, went to the door, saw the shooter, and immediately ran in that direction.
A business manager outside followed Hurley's orders without hesitation.
He turned back and looked towards everybody at the restaurant and told us that he is coming and that he's coming back and we should get inside.
Minutes later, Bill says Hurley confronted the gunman.
Mr. Hurley shot him. Probably, like I said, I think I heard six shots from his gun, maybe 5.
What?
A hero. A real hero. And he was gunned down by a cop. Could you imagine? Could you imagine if this was a son, man? And you don't see the NRA coming out saying nothing about this, because that would be the first thing we would say. Where's the NRA? Where's the NRA here? If the NRA came out every time something like this happened in the white community, and where do we get this stuff from that the NRA just jumps up every time? Like, I don't even know. Let me walk that back. Where do we even get that from? We don't even know nothing about the white community, how they operate. That's why I make these videos, so you can at least see some tidbits of how they operate in their own communities.
Shot him. Probably, like I said, I think I heard six shots from his gun, maybe 5.
What happened next is unclear.
Paramedics are bringing Mr. Hurley across on the stretcher.
But what Bill saw, he will carry for the rest of his life.
I've got a pit in my stomach. I mean, just to know that he got killed, being that brave.
A man that laid down his life for complete strangers in this quiet town.
To be brave enough to put yourself, in a line of fire like that, it's unreal. It's unthinkable.
Yet Hurley did the unthinkable.
Now, at this time, officials have not released who killed Hurley, whether it was the gunman or an officer. Now, one very compelling thing that stood out to me, there was just a mother out here at a growing memorial outside a water fountain. She says mothers in this community bring their children to this fountain, and she tells me she has respect for anyone like Hurley, specifically him, who runs towards danger to ensure the safety of this community. Reporting live in Arvada, Addie.
So this one says, does anyone actually believe the police's version of events? By the way, Hurley just happened to pick up the shooter's gun for some reason. He just happened to do one of the few things that would cause people's immediate gut reaction towards the responding police to soften just a bit. So apparently, he picked up the guy's gun after he shot him. This person says, if you're going to take down an active shooter, your first priority would be to put the guy down, and your second would be to separate him from his gun. Even if he appears dead, it's a good precaution to move the gun out of reach just to be safe. That Hurley would pick up the gun doesn't sound unbelievable to me, nor does it seem completely unreasonable. It's also believable that, focused as he is on the shooter, he might not be thinking about a cop mistaking him for a bad guy. My bigger suspicion is that the cop knew that the shooter was a cop killer, showed up and immediately fired at whoever he saw holding a gun. Police are pretty well known to be more aggressive with cop killers. I mean, of course, that would make sense, though.